Good morning. My humble salutations to Goddess Saraswati, and I pay earnest tribute to Sri Pundarik Maharaj and Dr. Panjabrao Bhausaheb Deshmukh. On this beautiful morning, I, Sunanda Dekate, Assistant Professor, Department of Botany, am pleased to welcome all of you here on the National Multidisciplinary Conference on Sustainable Development 2022. Success is a not a to success is a not a key to happiness. Happiness is the key to success. A very good morning to everyone present here. I take this privilege to warmly welcome all our delegates on the National Conference on Sustainable Development 2022. Light the lamp virtually. Video will be played here. Light influence switch over the darkness and fill the ignorance. It marks the beginning of auspicious movement and events. I request the dignitaries, Honorable Principal Dr. Alka Mankar ma'am, and all my dear colleagues to do the honor. I request participant to do the same here. To welcome is the show honor. To welcome is the established integrity. Now, welcome address. Good morning, eminent scholars and guests. I am very happy. I heartily welcome Professor Vajanta Patil, Ma'am, Dean, Faculty of Interdisciplinary Studies, Swami Ramanand Tirtha, Marathwada University, Nanded. I also heartily welcome Dr. J.B. Zore, School of Life Science, Director of Molecular Diagnostic and Clinical Research Lab, SRTMNU, Nanded. Welcome, ma'am. Welcome, sir. All the coordinators and all the coordinators of all departments, professor, faculty members, students, research scholars, and the esteemed participants who have gathered here from diverse places from nook and corners. May I also state that we have the privilege receiving inquiries, delegates for register from places as far as Kolkata, Delhi, etc. We hope that all of you will have the one most productive day of interesting and stimulating discussions. I sincerely wish that this conference will be a great success, not only as an opportunity to share knowledge and experiences in higher education, but also as the beginning of long and fruitful cooperation and friendship among fellow educators devoted to the most meaningful and worthwhile task of teaching and training away youth who will share shape our future. I again extremely very warm welcome to everybody present here. Thank you so much. Distinguished guest, participant, researcher scholar, our special guest of honor, Dr. Vajanta Patil, Professor and Director, School of Education, Dean, Faculty of Interdisciplinary Studies, SRTM, University, Nanded, and keynote speaker, NMCSD 2022. We have been gracious enough welcome to join us, ma'am. I like to request Dr. J.B. Zore, School of Life Science, Director, Molecular Diagnostic and Clinical Research Lab, SRTMU, Nanded. Sir, please join us. I like to request Honorable Principal Dr. Alka Mankar, ma'am. Please join us, ma'am. With that auspicious opening, now I would like to request Dr. Ravi Kumar Shinde from Department of Geology and convener of National NMCSD 2022 to present introductory remark. Sir, please, I over to you, sir.
Thank you, Dekada Madam. Honorable Shri Harshavardhanji Deshmukh, President Shri Shivaji Education Society Amravati, Honorable Shri Naresh Chandraji Thakre, Vice President Shri Shivaji Education Society Amravati, respected Professor Vaijanta Patil Ma'am, Dean, School of Interdisciplinary Studies, and Professor and Director, School of Education, SRTM University, Nanded. My friend Dr. Gajanan Zore, Director, Molecular Diagnostic Laboratory, and Assistant Professor at School of Life Sciences, SRTM University, Nanded. Respected Dr. Alka Mankar Ma'am, Principal of SPM College, Nandura, all the participants from all over the nation, respected Dr. Smita Taray Ma'am, Organized Secretary of this conference and IQAC Coordinator, Dr. Suchita Dighe Ma'am, Co-Convener of this conference and Head of Department of Botany, and all the members of Organizing Committee. At the outset, I, Dr. Ravi Kumar Shinde, Convener of this conference, welcome you all to the National Multidisciplinary Conference on Sustainable Development, organized by Shri Pundlik Maharaj Mahavidyalaya, Nandura. Dear friends, the concept of sustainable development was described in 1987 by Bruntel, and his commission report says that the development which meets the needs of the present without compromising the ability of future generations to meet their own needs. That is the sustainable development. Society, environment, culture, and economy, which are intertwined, not separate, are the four paradigms of sustainable development. UNESCO has put forth many sustainable development goals. We all must be aware of that. The goals like no poverty, zero hunger, good health, quality education, gender equity, and so on. Total 17 of such goals are there, including climate, green energy, etc., etc. Dear colleagues, dramatic changes in environment has raised an urgent concern to every one of us. But to me, I'm not worried about this planet, because this planet is always going to be there. It was there before us also. Even the coming generations are also going to be there, maybe for next 10,000 years. But then what will be the next? My friends, they say after that only buildings are going to be there, all empty. And evolutionary study says that it may take at least 1 million years to arrive new life on this earth. Till then, it will be like Mars, totally barren, empty. Friends, we all know that from 2023, new education policy is going to be enforced. The new education policy 2020 has been aligned with the UN's Sustainable Development Goals and is based on 5 pillars: access, affordability, equity, quality, and accountability. It introduces a four-stage pedagogical structure as the foundational stage, preparatory stage, middle stage, and secondary stage. Considering all these aspects, we thought that this is high time that there should be a deliberation of academicians and researchers from all the streams to have exchange of ideas, concepts, and thoughts. And these things motivated us to organize this one-day national conference on sustainable development. While thinking over organization of this conference, we all were fully convinced that we must invite the speakers who have significantly contributed to the sustainable development through education and research. And I'm highly confident that we got the best to enlighten of us. I deeply appreciate Professor Patil ma'am and Dr. Zore for accepting our request and agreed to spare their invaluable time with us. I thank all the participants for joining us. I request all the participants not to miss this opportunity to interact with these experts and do get benefited. Today's conference is a result of hard work done by a self-motivated and dedicated team, including teaching and non-teaching staff of Shri Pundlik Maharaj Mahavidyalaya Nandura. So friends, let's make this conference more interactive. I'm sure we all are eager to listen to today's speakers, so I will not take much time. Once again, I welcome you all on this joyful journey of intellectual deliberation. Thank you, one and all. Over to you, Dekate ma'am.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much. Now, I would like to invite Dr. Smita Tarade ma'am, IQAC coordinator and organizing secretary and MCSD 2022 to give the introduction of today's keynote speaker. Ma'am.
Thank you, Dr. Sunanda. I'm delighted to take an opportunity to introduce keynote speaker of National Multidisciplinary Conference on Sustainable Development 2022, Dr. Vejanta Patil ma'am. Ma'am is professor and director at School of Educational Sciences, SRTM University, Nanded, and working as Dean, Faculty of Interdisciplinary Studies as SRTM University, Nanded. She is having total 22 years of teaching experience and administrative experience. She is recognized PhD supervisor in education and total 12 students awarded PhD degree under her supreme guidance and total 15 students awarded MPhil degree. She has grabbed 2 project grants on her name. One is from ICSSR New Delhi of rupees 12 lakhs and 0.6 lakh from SRTM University, Nanded. Dr. Vejanta Patil ma'am is honored with 2 awards. One is Dr. Dave Prerna Puraskar by Maharashtra State Secondary Teachers Education Association and YCM Open University, Nashik. And second is Guru Ratna Puraskar 2018 by Mimamsa Foundation, Maharashtra Rajya Maratha Patrakar Sangha and Delhi Samiksha. Ma'am has published more than 30 research articles in various reputed national and international journals. She has published 2 books. Ma'am is active member of Academic Council and work as chairman of BOS of Education Faculty. She worked as chairman and member of various affiliation committee and work as Vice Chancellor nominee and subject experts of BOS of Education faculty. She has life membership of various professional associations such as All India Association for Educational Research, Bal Shikshan Parishad Mumbai, Maharashtra Teachers Association, and many more. We are grateful to you, ma'am, for accepting our invitation and making your valuable presence for this conference. Welcome you, ma'am, and happy Women's Day in well advance. Thank you, ma'am. Over to you, Dr. Sunanda.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much. Wonderful introduction, ma'am. Now, I would like to invite here now participant. It is my honor to invite Dr. Vaijanta Patil, Professor and Director, School of Education, to express her views on topic education and sustainable development. Ma'am will deliver the lecture. I over to you, Mike, ma'am. Ma'am, please start.
Thank you. Thank you, madam. I firstly welcome all the participants and thanks to the Principal Dr. Alka Mankar, ma'am, Professor Ravi Kumar Shinde, Smita Karade, ma'am, to give me this opportunity to express my views as a keynote address in this multidisciplinary national conference. I share my PPT. Does it visible?
Yes, ma'am, it is visible.
Yeah. Firstly, I congratulate this principal and all teaching and non-teaching staff members for organizing this type of multidisciplinary conference on sustainable development, which is current issue before the country and all over the world. When Ravi Kumar Shinde sir called me and he has requested to deliver the lecture on education and sustainable development on the behalf of this Sri Pundalik Maharaj Mahavidyalaya, Nandura. And I agree with him to deliver the lecture on this education and sustainable development. Basically, I am the teacher from teacher education department and the student from the basic sciences, that is mathematics. So I try my best to discuss with you the points for the education and the sustainable development in this multidisciplinary conference. Just Ravi Kumar Shinde sir has explained the definition of sustainable development, that is Brundtland Commission report in 1987. They put forth the concept of sustainable development and was described this sustainable development in this manner, that the development means the all over the development of country, all over the world, and development of the society, development of family, development of the person or the human being that meets the needs of the present without compromising, without failure, the ability of future generation to meet their own needs. We have didn't compromise our needs and also the needs of our next generation, that our children and all other further generations. So we can simply define the sustainable development, that the use of renewable and non-renewable resources in the manner that satisfy our current needs. Which needs we have in the daily life, routine life, but doesn't not compromise or doesn't sacrifice the future availability of the resources. That we daily says, minimize the use of energy, minimize the use of petrol and diesel, minimize use of the carry bag that we use frequently in our daily lives. That is the renewable and non-renewable. Both resources must have, you curtail the use of these resources in your daily life. That is the most part of sustainable development. So we can do, each and every human being can do the sustainable development by curtailing the use of these things, that use of the renewable and non-renewable resources in the daily life. So we can give the contribution for the sustainable development for our country, for our world, that is our planet. So when we think about the sustainable development, can I mute my video? Shinde sir?
Yes, ma'am, you can.
Yeah. Okay. So I can get my PPT in full form. When we talk about the aspect of this sustainable development, the three aspects are more important in the sustainable development. That is, the first is the social, second one is economical, and third one is the environmental aspect. So these three aspects are more important, or the play the vital role in the sustainable development. When we talk about the aspect of sustainable development, that this Venn diagram you might be seen in everywhere. That is, this Venn diagram is the picture of the sustainable development, that is social, environment, and economic. What is the environment? That is conservation, prevention, and the protection. In social, peace, equity, and the democracy, and in economy, work, money, and education. Without these three, we can't connect any two. That is, the sustainable development can't define with social and environment, can't define only with economic and environment, can't define with economic and social. The sustainable development, you see this the center triangle, that is, this is called sustainable development. Some part of social, some part of environment, and some part of economic, that called the sustainable development. So in the social, human being can in social aspect, one can that lives in harmony with nature and within itself. Itself is the most important topic for the social aspect. Standard of living, how your living standard, community, quality of life, health, education, labor problem, that are the social aspect, that is the daily routine. These aspects are the daily routine aspect for the social aspect. Then economy, when we talk about the economical aspect, one characterized by the development decisions policy that do not exhaust the national resources. So national resources must be taken consideration. And in economical aspects, business plans, market analysis, we can do this by economical aspect. We calculate income tax, that is March is going on. So income tax accounting, budgets, finance, management, and marketing. We use the money for our life, for the sustainable development. So, and third part is most important part, that is sustainable development is directly connected to the environmental aspect. So national resources, that's the world resources, are able to sustain the life of human being, life of human wild animals, life of the water animals, and the health of human, progress of human. And these national resources, that the world resources, we renew themselves frequently. So the without the renew of these resources, we cannot live in the harmony. So the natural resources, that is the biological, ecological, or the wildlife studies, and the greenhouses gases, these are the environmental aspects for the sustainable development. So sustainable development will require the balancing environmental, that is social and economic consideration in the development and improvement in the life. So sustainable development is not another concept, but it is, in the simple word, I can say the improvement of human life is the sustainable development. By using these natural resources, we improve our standard of living, we improve standard of our health, we improve the progress of your economic progress of your life, your family, your society. That are the social that are the sustainable development aspects we consider as the main aspect of the sustainable development. So this triangle is most important. Some part of social development, some part of environmental development, and some part of economical development, that I have just told, that work culture must be developed in your workplace, in your family, in your society, in your nation, in your state, or in the world. So money also important for the sustainable development, but the minimum use for the quality life is most important. And then in the economic development, the education is the major part of the sustainable development. So how education can contribute or can play the vital role in the sustainable development. So these aspects are more important in the sustainable development. So we think about the education. So when we talk about the measures of sustainable development, how the education can contribute in the social development, we can reduce, reuse, recycle the approach. That is the resources. I have already told you that the renewable and non-renewable resources must, the use of these renewable and non-renewable resources, if we can reduce, we can reuse them, and we can recycle the resources. That is, this approach must be developed through the education, through the throughout the society. So these are the measures of the sustainable development. So education can play the vital role for the increasing this reduce, reuse, and recycle approach in the students. So teacher must be develop this approach within their students. So we are the teachers. We play the most vital role in the education. So the education is the one of the part of economic aspect of the sustainable development. So we use the these resources, reduce, reuse, and recycle. These are the 3 R's in the sustainable development. You may know that the 3H, as the Mahatma Gandhi use the 3R, that is head, heart, and hand in the education. That is, these 3 are in the sustainable development. So you develop the approach within your students. That is, these 3 are must be used in your life. The next one major is the promoting environmental education and awareness. That is, in the school curriculum, environmental study is the important subject in the school curriculum, and up to the 12th branch, up to the higher secondary education. So we promote environmental education and awareness for the sustainable development in our students. Then the resources utilization as per carrying capacity is the most major of the sustainable development. So by improving the quality of life is the most important measure. Improving the quality of life, that is the social aspect is also more important. That is the social, culture, and economic dimension. That is Ravi Kumar Shinde sir has mentioned these points in his introductory speech. That is, for the improvement of your human beings quality of standard of living, that is social, culture, and economic dimension are the measures of your standard of living. So these are the measures of sustainable development. So what is the background of this sustainable development? What is sustainable development? In September 2000, the United Nations mandated that all of these members adhere to Millennium Development Goal, that is MDG. The SDG, these are the short forms of Millennium Development Goals or Sustainable Development Goal, which consisted, firstly, it consisted of the 8 goals, 8 time-bound goals, that is, which can be achieved within the 15-year period, that is 2015. And these Millennium Development Goals were in this type, you can see, to no poverty, no hunger. That is to make extreme poverty and hunger a thing of the past. So you overcome the poverty and hunger is the most important goal for the Millennium Development Goal, that is the Sustainable Development Goal. To make primary education universal, world has to do this. The primary education must be universal, and it is the globalized. To advance the gender equality and women empowerment. Tomorrow we are going to celebrate the International Women's Day. That is, these goals are, woman is the center. You can see this goal. Woman, I think woman is the center point of this sustainable development. Education is the center point of this sustainable development. To make the primary education universal, that is the education to all society, to advance enhance the gender equality and the woman empowerment. The lower the infant mortality rate, that is again related to women. To improve the health of mothers, again related to women. Next 6 one is the HIV, AIDS, malaria, and other disease are being combated. Means in this period we are fighting with the corona in pandemic. So it can be other diseases, may include the corona disease. To ensure life long-term environmental sustainability, that is the sustainability must be environmental sustainability is the major part of sustainable development, and creating a global development partnership. Partnership is the is also the major goal of this sustainable development. Partnership with whom? Partnership human to human, human to society, human to country, human to world, one country to another country, one society to another society, one state to another state. That is the partnership we need for the sustainable development. I have used this resource, my neighbor can this, that neighbor can this, or my family can, my society can. So create the global development for the partnership for the sustainable development. These are the goals. 8 goals were mandated in the 2000, in September 2000. But as the UNESCO has reoriented these goals in 2050, these 8 goals, that is the time-bound goal that were be met within 15 years of period, but they can some goals may achieved, some goals not achieved, and they reorient these sustainable development goals, that is the UNESCO in 2015, and they get the targeted 2030, that till the 2030 we can achieve. They have set the 17 new goals for the sustainable development, that calls the Millennium Development Goal, also MDG or the SDG. So UNESCO has set or mandated the 17 goals, and they give the target for the 2030. Up to 2030, the world can achieve these goals for the sustainable development. So what are these goals? You can see the sustainable development goal. The previous one 8, then they have added 9 goals in this. No poverty, end poverty in all its forms, everywhere, every society, from the every corner of the society, from the every family, from the every country, from the every state, or from the corner of the world. We have to end poverty from everywhere. Next one is the zero hunger. End the hunger, achieve food security, and improve nutrition and promote sustainable agriculture. That India has achieved this goal, that in the food security, and it is independent for the agriculture, in the field of agriculture. Next one is good health and well-being. It is the most important goal, that is every human being must ensure healthy lives and promote well-being for all at all stages. That I will explain these good health and well-being aspects in next slide. Just I am taking these 17 goals in brief. Then next, 4th one is the quality education, that the ensure inclusive and equitable quality education and promote lifelong learning opportunity for all. Each and every person must get the quality education. Education must reach to every corner of the world, for every corner of the country. So we have to ensure the inclusion of this, every person in the education. So education play the vital role in sustainable development. Next one is gender equality, that is achieve the gender equality and empower all women and girls. So I give the focus on these 3 goals, that is good health, well-being, quality education, and gender equality. Gender equality, I have want to discuss with you on the occasion of this Women's International Women Day. So gender equality is also the most important role to empower all women and girl. Clean water and sanitation, affordable clean energy, decent work and economic growth, industry, innovation, and infrastructure. When we talk about the clean water and sanitation, ensure the availability and sustainable management of water and sanitation for all. We all know we live in Maharashtra and others, some participants are also live in the other state of the India's. The sanitation problem is the major problem in today's life. Also, the rural India, rural Maharashtra has the major problem of sanitation. And woman is the first victim for the sanitation in rural India. So when we talk about the sanitation, we must provide the sanitation facility to each and every person of the country or of the world. Affordable and clean energy, we must use the energy resources in the reduction manner, ensure access appropriate, reliable and sustainable modern energy to all person, decent work and economic growth, promote sustain and inclusive and sustainable economic growth, full productive employment and decent work for all. This related to unemployability of the youth. So economic growth is depend upon the employment system of your state or your country. So this is the one of the goal of our sustainable development. Industry, innovation and infrastructure. When we promote the industrialization in the country, so build the resilient infrastructure which is familiar to the environment, promote inclusive and sustainable industrialization and foster innovations. So when we innovate, that is the e-garbage is the major problem for our society. So we think about this. Dr. Gajanan Zore may talk in another speech on this. Then when we talk about next goal, that is reduced inequality. So inequality within or among the countries. Some countries are the developed countries, some countries are the developing country, and some countries are the undeveloped country. These in worldwide, these three categories among the countries. So we can reduce this inequality within or the among the countries. Some in India, we say some states are developed, some states are developing, and some states are undeveloped in the various manners. So various aspects can we discuss for the inequalities. Sustainable cities and communities are the most important goal for the sustainable development. Make cities and human settlements, that is each and every person want the shelter, and that is the she or he want the safe shelter for the livelihood. So the responsible consumption and production is also the one development goal. Climate action, take the urgent action to the climate change and its impact. So what is a climate action? Person cannot do but give the by using the minimum resources, renewable resources and non-renewable resources, we can help the climate action. So this is the urgent action by the human being. So life below the water, conserve and sustainability, use the ocean, sea and marine resources. So we have to sustain the life below water also. Then life on land, that is the world animals, protect, restore and promote the sustainable use of this ecosystem, sustainably manage the forests. Where our development, when we talk about the India, when I especially talk about in the Maharashtra, we the Minister of the Road Development, that is Honorable Nitin Gadkari, has taken the initiative for the Samruddhi Mahamarg. And when developing the roads, the many trees are they have cut the trees, they cut the forests. So for the sustainable development, we take the initiative for the plantation. So this is the one way for sustainably manage the forest. Then the halt and reserve land, halt biodiversity loss. These are the life on land. So we take care for the world wild animals also. Then the peace and justice, strong institution promote. So peaceful and inclusive society for the sustainable development provide access to the justice for all and build effective, accountable and inclusive institution at all levels. They can give the better education for the peace and justice for each and every students, for the each and every human being. And just I have talked in the previous slide that the partnership to achieve this goal, strengthen the means of implementation and revitalize the global partnership for the sustainable development. So we have to develop the global partnership with another countries, another societies, other states, other countries. That is the global partnership is the major goal of the sustainable development. We are seeing from the last 12 days, Ukraine and Russia war is going on, and this is the bad partnership for achieving this sustainable development goal. When we talk about these 17 goals, I focus on the quality education, gender equality. These goals, woman is the center point of this sustainable development. Why I am saying this? The good health in these 8 goals, the 4th and 5th goal is directly related to the woman, to lower the infant mortality rate and improve the health of the mothers. And third one is also related to women, to advance the gender equality and the women's empowerment. So these 3 points are directly related to women. That is the world's 50% population are the women. So we have to focus, we have to give the good education to women. So when we talk about the aspect of well-beings, that the good health and well-being is the one goal for the sustainable development. What is the well-being? That which fulfill the basic needs is the well-being aspect, that is food, shelter and livelihood. Good health is also the well-being aspect, that is physical and mental health. Both healths may be good. That healthy social relation, that is supportive social network. Because of supportive social network, myself and Zhore sir are with you. That is the healthy social relations to this college. We are discussing with these issues. So the healthy social relation must be the aspect of our well-being. Security, every person, every human being want the security or safety for his livelihood. What position, what humankind may, which type of security, which type of safety humankind give the other to the society, to the country is most important. Now you can imagine the mentality of Ukraine people. You can imagine the mentality of Russian soldiers, how they are facing this security and safety of their well-beings. So freedom is also one aspect of well-being, that the capacity to achieve one's development potential. I can use my money freely. I can use my resources freely. That is the freedom. And this freedom must give to every person of the society, that is men and women also. Then I just have talked about the gender equality and the sustainable development. I have take this opportunity on the background of the tomorrow's International Women's Day. That is one goal for the sustainable development, that is the gender equality. And these somehow all the goals are related, direct related to every person, but the woman is the most important human being for the sustainable development, that is gender equality. That woman empowerment is the most important role for the gender equality. When you empower the woman, you got the gender equality easily. Woman empowerment means, we define the woman empowerment, woman gain more power and control over their own lives and ability to their own decision. So when we say, as the social view, when we say the woman is empowered, that he can take his own decisions about her economic development, her to give the birth to the child, to economical of the self and family. So education increase the woman's participation in labor forces. So the woman's empowerment has become a significant topic of discussion in development and economics. So woman is the more important. So economic development allows the woman to control and benefit from the resources, assets, and income. So these three aspects are more important for the woman empowerment and the gender equality also. It also aids the ability to manage risk and improve women's well-being also. It can be result in the approaches to support the genders in the particular, in political or the social consent also. In each and every sector, women must be empowered. While often the interchangeability, when we use the more comprehensive concept of gender empowerment concerns people of any gender, tracing the distinction between biological and the gender as a role. That is, one gender is as a role. Woman empowerment helps in boosting the status of woman. So when we say the boost the status of woman, through which are the part for the boosting the status of woman, that is through literacy, education, training, awareness creation among the women. Furthermore, woman empowerment refers to the woman's ability to make strategic life choices which had been previously denied them. Moreover, decades has gone that previously these are the these things are denied by the society to the woman. So nations, business, community, and the groups may benefit from the implementation of program and policies that adopt the notion of female empowerment. So the empowerment of women enhances the quality and the quantity of human resources available for the development. So the social development, economic development, for the social development and economic development, there must be a part that is women's empowerment. So the empowerment is one of the main production concern when addressing human rights and development also. So in the sustainable development, when we concern to the education increases the women's participation in the labor force and their contribution to the household and national income also. When we give the education to the woman, that increase the earning capacity. So women's increase earning capacity has a positive effect on the economic development of the nation, and it also directly effect on the children nutrition, health and educational perspective. So when we talk about the woman empowerment, women need to empower in order to narrow the gender gap. Automatically the gender gap may be decreased when we give the education to the woman, and to create a equal playing field between the women and men. When women's active participation in decision making facility, the allocation of public resources to investment in the human development priorities, including education, health, nutrition and employment of and social protection. These are the some aspect for the woman education. So when what is the role of education to empower the woman? So when people engage in the public debate and make demands on government for the health care, social security and other entitlements, other things. In particular, education empowers the woman to make choice that improve their children health, their well-beings, and the chances of acquiring survival skills. Major survival skills are acquired by the woman, that the studies put before the nations. Social studies have proven that when you educate the woman, they are most acquire the survival skills. So education informs other for preventing and containing a disease. Such education empowers women to make the choice that can improve their welfare, including the marrying beyond the childhood, having fewer children. So we can trace on the woman education. So education can increase women's awareness of their rights, boost their self-esteem and provide the opportunity to assert their rights. So education is not universally available. Gender inequalities persist. So in many Muslim countries, we to today's scenario also, that the education is not the universe available for the girls. The major concern in many countries is not only the limited number of girls going to the schools, but also the number of educational pathways for those that step into the classroom. There are efforts to address the lower participation and the learning achievements of girls, especially in the engineering, technology, in science, in mathematics education. The enrollment ratio in this subject is lower than other subjects. In some faculties, in humanities faculties, girls, women's enrollment ratio is more than the technologies faculty. In some part of the world, girls and women are attacked for attending the schools, and the societal efforts to stop this may be lacking. So the lack of educational pathways for the girls is the is the negative part for woman empowerment. So woman is this I am frequently saying that the woman empowerment and the woman is the center point for the sustainable development. So we educate the woman, education increase the woman participation in sustainable development. That is, economic development must increase, social development must increase. Environmental development may be increased by empowering the woman. So these are the some targets for woman empowerment and all forms of discrimination against all women everywhere. When we specially talk about the education, how many girls are going to school and complete their higher studies? This is the point for the discussion, for the this is the point for the research. Maybe if 10 girls are enrolled in the first standard, out of these 10, how many complete the higher education, higher studies? That is 2 or 3. This ratio, this discrimination is the major problem for the women's education. Ultimate, all forms of violence against women in the public and the private spheres, including trafficking of human beings, that is sexual and other type of exploitation, is the major things for the woman empowerment. That are ultimately all harmful practices such as early and forced child marriage and female gentleman mutilation is the major problem in the woman empowerment. That when we talk about the violence against women in workplace or the one side love that we think, anyone listen the acid attack by woman over the men? I cannot listen this type of activity that a girl attacked or the acid he attacked, the acid attack to the his lover. Nothing. But frequently these incidents are going on in the all over world, not in the India but all over the world. We have frequently listen or in the social media we read the most these type of things, that is the acid attack, rape attacking, that is trafficking, sexual harassment on the workplace. These practices are the hurdles for the woman empowerment. So recognize and the value of unpaid care and domestic work through the provision of public services, infrastructure, and social protection policies may be defined by the country, by the state, by the world. So ensure women's full and effective participation, equal opportunity for the leadership at all levels of decision making in the political, economic, and public life. You are frequently see the political involvement of the woman, how the women are involving the in political activities. Undertake the reforms to give women equal rights to the economical resources as well as the access to ownership and control over the land and other forms of properties. That is the our responsibility to give the part of your properties to your girls. So we can achieve this target of women empowerment by providing the quality education to the human being, quality education to the woman. So the sustainable development can be done through the woman empowerment is the major part of the sustainable development. So when you educate a man, the scientist Young has written that when you educated a man, you educated a man, a person, you educated one person. But when you educate a woman, you educate a generation. That you education, you educate your society, you educate your country, you educate the all over the world. So you educate the woman, that is the 50% population of your society. That is, society means your country, your state, or the all over the world. So you educate the woman, you can educate the all the society, you educate a generation. So when we talking about the education for the sustainable development, UNESCO has defined in 2014 that the education for sustainable development allow every human being to acquire. What we have to acquire from the education? Anyone ask some question when you ask the students what education give to you? He frequently say I got the knowledge, I got the skill, I got the attitudes and values. This is the for the when we say the education for the sustainable development. So education allow every human being to acquire to the knowledge, skill, attitudes, and values necessary to the shape a sustainable future for the well-being, for the standard, enrich the standard of your life. Education gives all these things. Education means what? All-round development of the person, all-round development of the nation is the education. Is the simple definition of education. That's the all-round development of the human being is the education. In education, what do you acquire? You acquire knowledge, you acquire skill, you acquire the values. That is the well-being, for the well-being. So education for the sustainable development, it means that the including key sustainable development issues in the teaching and learning. For example, that the what units can you teach or learn in the education system, that we frequently give them important role for the climate change, for important topic in your syllabus, that is climate change, disasters, risk reductions, biodiversity, poverty reduction, and sustainable consumption in various subjects that you teach in your school subjects, in your higher education studies. It also requires the participatory teaching and learning methods that motivate and empower learners to change their behavior and take action for the sustainable development. So education is the most important aspect of sustainable development, that consequently promotes the competencies of the students, competencies of the teachers, that education develops or the promotes the competencies. What competencies we have to develop in the students? That is critical thinking, imagining future scenarios, making decision in the collaborative way. I will detailedly explain in next slide that what competencies can promote through education for sustainable development. Education for sustainable development requires for reaching change in the way of education is often practiced today. So this is for the education for sustainable developments, that I have already explained this, that knowledge, skill, understanding, and value. And when we're talking about the education enhance the effectiveness of each of this part through the developing informed engagement, agency, and empowerment among all affected stakeholders. Further, the education can build lasting change, that is sustainable change, because it is owned by the learner and reaches hearts and mind. Because I have just told you that Mahatma Gandhi have defined the education in 3H manner, that is heart, hand, and head. That is heart and mind. You develop, you promote, you trace these values to the each and every student up to the his hearts and her up to each and every student's heart and mind, so you can achieve the goal of education for sustainable development. So the education promotes the development of knowledge, skill, understanding, and values and actions required to create a sustainable world, which ensures the environmental protection and conservation, promotes and social equity, encourage economic sustainability. That is the three parts, how three parts can involve in the education. That is this. So when we talking about the education, how school education play the vital role for the sustainable development. From various subjects you can give these values and the understandings to the students. That is science, math, history, economics, environment, and language is the some subjects in the school curriculums. So what science can do? The science give the contribution for the sustainable development by giving the knowledge, by giving the attitude, by giving the skill in the research field, by in the field of human development, how human development is cause the sustainable development through science. So through science syllabus you can contribute for the sustainable development. Maths, numerical ability, how the pollutions, how the population increases, that numerical ability can think, the students can think about the numerical ability. History of human development, democracy, economic development, development of nation, development of your family can teach through the economics. Environmental EVS studies is the most important study that I have just told you. Population and pollutions, how this is increased, and numerical in mathematics can calculate how the population in what ratio the population is increasing and how pollution is increasing. The language, in language ability that we LSRW, the four skills from the language education with the natural resources and culture of our country can be promote to the students. So this is the school curriculum for the sustainable development. But sustainability in the curriculum, the sustainability in the science, sustainability in the languages, how you as a teacher you can sustainability, you can include the sustainability in the curriculum, because as a teacher we prepare the syllabus through BOS, through the Bal Bharati in the school education, BOS for the universities and other committees for the other education levels. So the sustainability in science, the priority of the sustainability provides authentic context for the exploring and investigating and understanding chemical, biological, physical, earth and space system in the science. As I define the sustainability in languages, that is the listening ability, speaking ability, reading ability, and writing ability. That is the four objective for the language education, that is LSRW, means the listening, speaking, reading, and writing. And now just I have added that is the viewing ability also, that you have to view the good things in the good manner
Ma'am, you are not audible. Patil ma'am, Patil ma'am, you are not audible. Due to some technical error, ma'am will be back. Please stay with us. Don't move on. Please stay with us. Some technical error is there. Please participant, stay with us. Don't move.
Electricity problem. Sorry.
Okay, ma'am. Ma'am, please continue, ma'am.
Okay. Thank you. In the sustainability in history, we subject the students in understanding the course influence of continuity and the change. So historical knowledge must be given to every student for the sustainable development. Sustainability in the geography, when we give the priority in the future oriented, focusing on protecting environment and creating a more ecological and socially just world through informed actions. What actions must be there? Actions that support more sustainable patterns of living required consideration of environmental, social, culture, economic system and their inter dependence. So this is the subject wise how we prepare the curriculum for sustainable development. When we speak about the curriculum, how this curriculum the enhance the students knowledge, what teacher can do, what approaches can he use in teaching learning methods, what is the pedagogical approaches in the education in sustainable development. Pedagogical approaches means these are the nothing but the methods which are as a teacher we are using in our teaching learning methods, day-to-day teaching. We must use project method, we must use research method, we must use field work, we must use group discussion, we must use question answer in our classroom for giving the knowledge of these subjects for sustainable development. Project method you can give for the geography, for the history, for the science. You can give the small project to the students from the social, economic and environmental background. Research method, you for develop the attitude of research, you can use research method for various subjects in the school and the higher education also. You use field work. What are the field in which subjects you use the field work? In science, in languages, in history, in social sciences, that is geography, environmental studies. You can easily use the field work and you complete your syllabus through the field work, and for in it is very useful method which is used by the school teachers in the geography and history. They are usually use this method for the enhancement of the knowledge for this subject. Group discussion is also one important pedagogy approach for the teacher for using the classroom teaching and question answer. You must give the freedom to the students for asking the question, and you must give the answer in your classroom teaching. These are the pedagogical approaches for the this subject to enhance the sustainable development goal, or they achieve the sustainable development goal, that is ESD. What is the role of teacher? What is our role in education for sustainable development? So we must aware our students about the natural resources. Sorry. For the natural resources, for the renewable and non-renewable resources, and it's important in human development, how the natural resources can be used for the well-being livelihood, for the good health, empowerment of women, quality education, how this human development can be better by using the natural resources. So we must aware our student about these all natural resources in science, in environmental studies, in economics. We give the knowledge of this natural resources. Teach student to protect environment. Through environment education, you must teach your student how worldwide animals in the sea, how your water must be purified. So we have to protect the environment around us. Develop critical thinking in your students, develop social skills in your students, develop interest among students in natural environment, develop a sense of appreciation of natural resources, provide information about pollution, provide information about populations, and all other things around us, around the school, around the college, around the uh, um, his or her home. We should have to develop the sense of protect our environment and develop the social skill among our students. So teacher can play the important role in the sustainable development through enhancing this capacity, enhancing this competency in your students, that is the school students or your college students. You must develop these various types of competencies in your students. So what are the characteristics of education for the sustainable development? The education must base on the principle and values that underlie the sustainable development. What aspects can be enhanced through education for the sustainable developments? So it deals with the well-being of all three realms of sustainability, that is environment, society, and economy. These are the three important aspects of well-beings. So promote lifelong learning. In each and every person on the earth must be learned in all over his life. So this is called the lifelong learning. So we have to promote each and every students to achieve the learning capacity for lifelong learning. So it is locally relevant and culturally appropriate. So how sustainable development can enhance through education? So you have to give the knowledge of natural resources. Which natural resources? Which are located in his students area. So it is locally relevant, it is culturally appropriate, it is based on the local need. Education must be based on local needs. We have not preserve, protect the natural resources from America and other countries, but you have to protect, conserve, and reuse your resources from your local. For the around your school, around your home, you have to protect the natural resources. So this education is based on the local needs. You have to and perceptions and the conditions and the acknowledge that fulfilling the local needs. So engage the formal, non-formal, and informal education. So you have to boost through the education, that is the formal education which are we giving in the school and colleges, that is the formal education. What is the non-formal education? Which are given through the NGOs, by the societies, in the locally lectures, that is the non-formal education. What is the informal education? Which knowledge we gain from the TV, newspaper, social media, from the family, from the society, that is the informal education. So education must be engaged from these three types of education, and each and every person must take these three education, that is formal, non-formal, and informal education. So for the sustainable development, you should have the engage from three types of education and accommodates the evolving nature of the concept of sustainability. So these are the characteristics of education for the sustainable development, and we should have to focus as a teacher. We should focus for our students to these characteristics. So what are the competencies? Which competency you have to enhance from the sustainable development through education? And these competencies published by UNESCO in 2017. I have just gone through this in very short time. That is a system thinking competency, anticipatory, normative, strategic, collaborative competency, critical thinking, self-awareness, integrated problem-solving competency. These competencies must be enhanced through the education for the sustainable development. These competency, nothing but these are the goals of our education system. In National Education Policy, they have National Education Policy 2020. In this policy, they have suggested the holistic approach for the education system. So how holistic approach, multidisciplinary approach are is suggested in the National Education Policy 2020. But these competencies are nothing but the goals of this National Education Policy, and the overall education policy must be through this competency. Each and every student enhance these competencies through the education, and these competencies are enhance the sustainable development. When as a teacher you enhance these competencies in your students, automatically students can think, student can take the action for the sustainable development. What is the system thinking competency? The Goldman is one scientist, psychological scientist, that is define the cognitive intelligence competency, that is system thinking, that is, and it is not Another thing, that is the ability to think or analyze information and situation that lead or to cause the effective or superior performance. What a graduate can do analyzing, enhance the analyzing sustainability problem, cutting across the different domain and scale, that is from the local to global. You think first about the local, then global. It is the process to think about local to global. The anticipatory competency, that you think about the your future craft, that is the craft rich picture, that is it is related to future competency. Normative competency, that the ability to collectively map, specify, apply the sustainability values, principle, goal and target. Static competency, this is the graduates who can compete in the static thinking are able to design and implement the systematic intervention, transformative action and transition strategies towards sustainability. So the collaborative competency, these are the competencies should have to enhance through the education, and must graduates can acquire this competency through education. Integrated problem solving competencies, this is the most important competency which can be enhanced through the education. That is the critical thinking skill, analyze, interpretation, inference, explanation, self-regulation, open-mindedness and problem solving, which problems are human being facing day to day in the day-to-day life. So you can easily overcome the problems by thinking the problem solving capacities. So these are the some competencies through education you can overcome the problems of sustainable development. So we can enhance, we can support through the education to the sustainable development. So the effectiveness of education for the sustainable development must ultimately measure by the degree to which it changes the attitude, behaviors of people or the students or the human being, both in their individual's role or including those of the procedure and the consumers, and in carrying out their collective responsibility and duties as a citizen. Sustainable development is start from yourself. Self-esteem, your self-esteem must be enhanced for the sustainable development. So start from yourself for the sustainable development of your society, for your country, and this can be developed by achieving the 17 goals. It is the continuous process, as like education. This is sustainable development can achieve by achieving these goals for through the education system must support to these goals to achieve each and every society's person. So we can achieve these goals by through the education. Thank you so much.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much, ma'am. Outstanding lecture, ma'am. This was a really enlightening and helpful, ma'am. Ma'am, we have one question.
Okay.
No, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much. Happy Women's Day, ma'am.
Thank you. Same to you. I also give the thanks to Alka Mankar ma'am, Ravi Kumar Shinde sir, Smita Karade ma'am, all teaching and non-teaching staff to give me this opportunity to discuss this education and sustainable development topic with all these participants. Thank you so much, and happy Women's Day to all of you, not only the women but men also.
Thank you,
Promote
ma'am.
the
Thank you
women,
so much, ma'am.
you get the sustainable development. Okay,
Thank
thank you so much.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much. Now, I would like to invite here Dr. Sunil Chauhan sir to give the introductory remark.
Good afternoon, everyone. I am Mr. Sunil Chauhan, Assistant Professor, Department of Chemistry. I am pleased to welcome each and every one of you to introducing a resource person in our National Multidisciplinary Conference on Sustainable Development 2022. We get today's research person, Dr. G.B. Jhore sir, an eminent academician, biologist, and administrator of a great calibers. Sir has done MSc and PhD in biotechnology. Sir has specializations in 4 subjects such as biotechnology, microbiology, botany, and zoology. Sir is expertise in genetics and molecular biology and biotechnology. Sir has research interest in Candida albicans, plant biotechnology, especially in stress tolerance in crops. Sir has 16-year teaching experience, 13 years in Sri Ramananda Tirtha Marathwada University, Nanded, and 3 years in Pune University. Sir is currently serving as an assistant professor, School of Life Science, and Swami Ramananda Tirtha Marathwada University, Nanded, Maharashtra. Sir has vast and current research area in Candida albicans. Sir has got many research projects like first in 2019 ICMR DHR International Fellowships granted for 27 lakhs. Second in 2017 to 2022 USAID and BIRAC granted 65 lakhs. Third in 2015 to 16 Raman Fellowships. Number 4 in 2012 to 15 SCRP Young Scientist Scheme granted 23 lakhs. Number 4 in 2010 to 13 UGC major research projects granted 15 lakhs. In 2011 to 12 UGC minor research projects granted 0.8 lakhs. 2012 to 19 DST Inspire Fellowships granted 25 lakhs. 2014 to 19 UGC GRF for international students granted 15 lakhs. Sir has been recipients of various awards such as Shanti Swarup Bhatnagar Prize in 2019, ICMR DHR International Fellowship in 2019 to 20, Raman Fellowships for postdoctoral research in 2014 to 15, SCRB FTSYS Awards in 2012. 6 PhD scholars have completed a doctoral degree under his able guidance. 3 scholars are ongoing and 2 MPhil students are there. Sir has published 18 research papers and has own citation index is 9 and item index is also 9. Sir has presented 8 presentations. Sir has been invited as the expert speaker in 20 conferences. Sir has 1 patent also. Sir has organized 2 international, 3 national and 3 state level conferences. Sir has many memberships such as number 1 American Association of Advancement of Science from USA 2015 to 18. Number 2 American Society of Microbiology from USA 2015 to 18. Number 3 Society of Biological Chemists India 2004 to 5. Number 4 Indian Society of Microbiology Plant Pathology 2004 to 7. Number 5 Moving Academy of Medicines and Biomedicines from Pune 2006 to 9. Sir has many publications from that selected publications are Thakre and etc. 2020 Medical Microbiology. Number 2 Ingre and etc. 2019 Protomics. Number 3 Kamawar and etc. 2019 New Disease Reports. Many administrative responsibility has been performed by the sir, such as number 1 institutional 2020 present director MDCR Swami Ramananda Tirth Marathwada University Nanded. Number 2 2018 present secretary institutional biosafety committee Nanded. Number 3 2018 present co-coordinator Center for Agro Bio Innovations and Incubations. Number 4 2019 present advisory board member Dr. B.R. Ambedkar Chair Swami Ramananda Tirth Marathwada University Nanded. Number 5 2019 present member board of research Swami Ramananda Tirth Marathwada University Nanded. Departmental level number 1 2016 present coordinator PhD FIST SLS Swami Ramananda Tirth Marathwada University Nanded. Number 2 2016 present coordinators UGC SAP DRS ASLS Swami Ramananda Tirth Marathwada University Nanded. Number 3 2018 coordinators Life Science and Alumni Associations. Number 4 in 2018 coordinators International Linkage ASLS Swami Ramananda Tirth Marathwada University Nanded. Sir has many collaborations with universities such as number 1 Brown University from USA, number 2 Washington State University from USA, number 3 Kansas State University from USA, number 4 CSIR NCL from Pune, number 5 Department of Biotechnology Savitribai Phule Pune University Pune, number 6 Punjab Agri University Ludhiana, number 7 GB Pant University of Agri and Technology Pantnagar, number 8 Dr. Rajendra Prasad Central Agri University Bihar, number 9 Rajasthan Agri Research Institute Jaipur. Sir has potential collaborations also. Sir has many web links such as Web of Science, Scopus, Orchid, Google, Scholar, LinkedIn, and Swami Ramananda Tirth Marathwada University. Sir has got many awards. First, Sir has got first Young Teacher Researcher Awards of Swami Ramananda Tirth Marathwada University Nanded in 2020. Sir has got Phule Dampatya Manav Seva International Award 2020. Sir is awarded by nominated for Shanti Swarup Bhatnagar Prize 2019. Sir is awarded by ICMR DHR International Fellowship 2019 to 20. Number 5, Sir has got a Raman Fellowships for Postdoctoral Research 2014 to 15. It is indeed a great privilege to have you with us on this National Multidisciplinary Conference for Sustainable Development 2022. Thank you, sir, for accepting our proposals.
Thank you. Could you please allow my video? Because, am I audible?
Yes, sir, you are.
Thank you.
Yeah, so could you please
Thank you so much.
allow my video to be shown on PC, because I'm connected on two this one instruments. So instead of mobile, you can allow me on this PC.
Sorry, sir.
My video is, yeah, I want to share. Yes. I want to share my slide on PC.
I want to share my slide.
Okay, sir.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much. Wonderful introduction, sir. Now, I would like to invite here Dr. J.B. Zore to deliver a lecture on a role of a science and technology in a sustainable development. Sir will enlighten us. Sir, please, I'm over to you, sir. We welcome you, sir.
Okay. Thank you very much. So my request, could you please allow me to share my slides on PC? I have joined on two instruments. Okay. So my slides are on PC. So I would like to your permission from host to share my video on PC.
Sir, what is the name of other PC?
Dr. Zore only.
Yes, the Dr. Zore is as a
There are
course
two.
assignment.
There will be two Dr. Zore. You can see that.
Post करने को तुम करना।
So you can now share yours.
All right. Thank you. Am I audible? मेरी आवाज आ रही है? Okay. So thank you very much for the nice introduction.
Yes, sir.
Am I
Yes, sir, you are. You are audible.
मेरी आवाज आ रही है आपको?
जी,
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
All right. So I would like to thank the organizing committee for providing
जी, sir.
this opportunity of presenting my thoughts on science and technological interventions. Science and technological interventions in sustainable rural development. So I'd like to thank the President of Sri Shivaji Education Society, Principal of the Sri Pundlik Maharaj College, and our colleague Dr. Shinde and his team for providing me this opportunity to present my views on science and technological interventions in sustainable rural development. So this is a wonderful topic they have selected for this conference, and I would like to share my views on this particular topic. So should we start? All right. So what is rural development? So rural development defined a strategy, right? For this rural development is a strategy designed to improve the economic and social life status of the specific group of people, right? This is how they define the rural development. So what we would like to achieve through rural development is, as earlier speaker, Dr. Vejanta Madam has explained what is development, what is sustainable development. So we'll be talking about the rural development. So what is we are going to achieve through this rural development is life or sustainable life, self-respect, freedom. In other words, life sustenance, self-esteem, and freedom. So what does it mean? What do you mean by life sustenance? So whatever basic needs we have, whatever basic needs people have, right? These basic needs include food, shelter, clothing, right? Healthcare, education, all these facilities, right? Availing all those facilities like food, shelter, clothing, education, and healthcare through sustainable means, right? Is the goal, right? In this particular rural development, especially sustainable rural development. So we like to achieve those things, those needs through uh, this sustainable development. Second is self-respect. Every person and every nation seeks some basic form of self-respect, dignity, and honor. Then freedom. So everyone should have freedom, that is political and ideological freedom. And then these basic three things are included in the goal of rural development. And now how to achieve these goals like life sustenance, self-respect, and freedom through sustainable means. So, and these goals or these particular goals are achieving through sustainable means to develop a sustainable society. So what do you mean by sustainable society? So sustainable society where we will have harmony, right? Not among the people, but harmony with the biodiversity. Then we need to respect and value our natural resources, and then reduce the pollutants that is going to harm our environment. So these are the basic goals, right, for sustainable society. It is not only sustainable villages, right, or sustainable human beings. It is a sustainable society through these sustainable means. So how we are going to achieve this rural development through sustainable means, and how science and technology is going to help in that. So before going for that, we would like to just talk about what exactly we are going to achieve through this sustainable rural development. Am I audible? So please interrupt me if my voice is missing or you are not listening me properly. Am I audible to you all? मेरी आवाज आ रही है?
Yes, sir. Yes.
Yes, sir.
All right. So what is the goal? What is the vision? What exactly we would like to achieve through this sustainable rural development, right? Uh, using science and technology. We need to have a plan. What are the changes? What type of amenities? What type of facilities we are expecting in villages or in our rural society, right? And that's why we need to have a vision for that. What exactly we want, what type of modification, what type of amenities we are going to provide to our villages. Like most important thing we need is we need to, in addition to food, this is one of the most important requirement of villages, that is self-sufficient in water or having clean water. So we have seen the situation of water in villages, right? Even in marriages, we are getting water from this packaged drinking water, and that's how, to that extent, we have lost our these natural resources or natural water bodies, and we became dependent on this industry. We need to generate sources, employment sources for our rural population, because most of these people, they are migrating to the cities, right, for employment. As in rural areas, there are not many employment opportunities except agriculture, and those educated people, they are going to move to cities in the search for job and employment. So we need to have some employment opportunities at villages, at the rural areas, so that we can retain that population, we can retain those working hands, we can retain those brains in the villages, and then that can contribute in the development of that particular area. We need to empower farmers. we all know the situation of farmer in India, especially Vidarbha region and Marathwada region of the Maharashtra. So Vidarbha has become the capital, suicide capital of India. That many farmers are committing suicide every year. And we need to see what are the problems there, why this situation is coming to the farmers and why farmer has to commit the suicide. So we need to have a plan to make this farmer or empower this farmer, improve their income, and that was one of the goals of our central government has set, doubling the farmer income, but we could not achieve it fully, though there are many efforts are being put through different schemes, different initiatives, but still this looks as a distant dream of doubling farmer income, and that's why we need to have a plan to empower our farmer community. We need to have better exercise and sport facilities for the rural population. We need to have better education system, because this education system, right? We can see there are two Indias. There is one India, another we call it Bharat. So Bharat stays or lives in rural area. India lives in urban area. That's what people are talking about. And it is not only education, it is again the economic growth as well. So rich India or rich population stays in urban area while poor population lives in rural area. That's why we can see there are two Indias. One is very rich, one has economy at the fifth position in the world, while another India that lives in the villages, it is far, far behind, and it is far below in the human development index. That is far below than many underdeveloped countries. So that is very unfortunate. We need to have better healthcare for our rural population. We need to have our women empowered. We need to have sufficient energy in the form of electricity and in the form of fuel. So we know how much time you get electricity in villages. So hardly few hours you'll get the electricity, while most of the time you are suffering without electricity in villages. So this is the situation, and why this situation is there. So these are the aspects we need to achieve, right? We need to empower our farmer, empower our women, make those things available like clean water, healthcare, education, other facilities and amenities. We need to make available for the rural population. And how it can be achieved, and why still, even after this many years of after independence, why it is not yet achieved, we will see some of the facts. So almost 54 or 55% of Indian population is dependent on agriculture or agriculture and allied sectors, right? So it is more than 50% of our population. Our population is almost 140 crores in 2021. And out of that, 54% population is dependent on agriculture and allied sector. So what we expect in our economy, on the other hand, on the contrary, you can see what is the contribution of this particular sector, agriculture and allied sector, in our GDP or our economy. So it is hardly 17.8% in 2019 and 20. So this is very, what we can say, very less compared to the manpower or human workforce employed in this particular sector. So you can see rightly here, so almost 55% population is contributing by 70% in our economy, right? While this 80% our GDP is coming from different sectors. So, but this was not the situation. This was not the, this is same thing here. This contribution of our agriculture sector in our GDP. You can see So almost 53% is contributed by service sector and 25% by industry sector, and agriculture, and which includes forestry, fishing and all, it goes up to 20%. And again, that is far less than. So it will be, we can say that though our economy is at the 5th position in the world, right? It is one of the 5th largest economy, right? Question need to be asked, whose economy is this? Because when there is 54% population dependent on agri and remaining almost 10% population depended on forest and fishing, that is almost 65% population, if it is contributing 20%, right? Out of this, our economy. So what is the share? What is the share of these people? What is the share of this 65% population in our economy? And this is the reason. I hope you can understand. This is the reason why these rural areas are still backward. There is underdeveloped, there is no development, and it needs a lot of support because their income is far less compared to the urban areas. So only 20% contribution by the 65% human resource, and this 65, in other words, you can say that 65% human resource is dependent on agriculture and their contribution is only 20%. That's why their income is very less, and that's why this rural area or rural population is underdeveloped. But why it has happened? We popularly say that if you ask anybody in our country, so they say that our economy is agri-based. And this is the paradox. If our economy is agri-based, why contribution is very less, right, compared to other sectors like services and industry? But it is right in the sense that when we got independence at that time, 40s and almost 50s, contribution of agriculture in our economy, it was very high. It was more than 45%. And that's why at that time, people used to say that our economy or Indian economy is agri-based. And now you can see all the other sectors, they have grown like anything, like service sector and industry has gone to 25% to 53%, while agriculture sector was supposed to grow. Instead, it has come down to 20%. And that is the reason this rural population, it was actually self-sufficient. It was actually richer earlier. This time it has come down. So it has grown in a reverse direction. The reason, if we look into the reason why this rural area still remain underdeveloped, is because the agriculture sector, right, employing almost 65% of our human resource, is expected to increase, right, from where it was at the time of independence. However, instead of growing, it has came down to 20%. And this is the reason rural India is still remain backward, and it is not, but we can say, have achieved the expected goals like life sustenance, self-respect, and freedom. This is one of the most important reasons, because this is directly related to the economic status of those people. This is the reason this farmer community or farmers are committing suicides. This is the reason in the rural area, education, healthcare, and other amenities are not developed as expected. So first and most important thing we need to achieve is to look for empowering our farmers, because most of the rural population is dependent on agriculture sector, and unless we work on this improving agriculture or farmer income, we cannot achieve all these goals. So in order to achieve the, this is in brief, this was the data from 2001. And you can see at the time work area was 75% in agriculture, and then the population around 5,000 people per village. These many villages are there, almost 638,000 villages, right? 5,000, around 5,000 towns, districts 593. This is the data of our country, and this is the reason, that is income of farmer that has gone down instead of increasing, it has come down, and that is causing all the problems, and that's why it has become a necessity to improve farmer income. So how to achieve that? We need to act responsibility, we need to take responsibility of these people, and we need to see how we can achieve it. So how we can achieve those goals, these rural development goals. First and most important priority we need to look into is empower our farmer. So to empower our farmer, what we need is, we need to provide them technologies, we need to provide them the other employment opportunities, because we know there is hidden employment in farming sector or agriculture sector. So wherever we need, for example, to work in, how many people we need in 1 acre land, or to what we can say, take care of 1 acre land, we have whole family employed in that particular area of the agriculture. So this is called hidden employment. So though we don't need that many people in that particular area, one family is employed in that particular land, and that's why instead of increasing the income, input cost, right, labor cost is increasing. If we calculate the labor cost per acre, it is going up, and that's why this farming business has become business of not profit or not profit, and that's why the manpower that is employed in agriculture, we need to provide them other or alternative employment opportunities, and that's why we can reduce the burden of this population depending on agriculture. So they can have alternative sources of the income in addition to agriculture. So if we can have some of these allied industries set up in rural areas, those people can be employed, and those people can be given opportunity to work in those particular sectors. So we can discuss it in detail, but see, sustainable development meets the needs of the population, right, or current generation, without compromising the needs of the future generation. So this is how we need to achieve this sustainable development. We need to take care of environment, and while taking care of environment, we need to work on development of society. We need to develop economic status of our society, and that is called as sustainable development. How we can achieve that? How, while doing that, we need to take care of people, planet. We need to take care of prosperity of people. We need to take care of peace in society. We need to encourage partnership among the people, and to achieve these sustainable development goals. So I will just in brief tell you about, these are some of the sustainable development goals identified by United Nations, and that includes reducing poverty, reducing hunger, providing good health, providing good education, quality education, improve the gender equality, then provide clean water and sanitation for everyone, affordable and clean energy for everyone, then economic growth, provide and develop industries, innovative industries and infrastructure, then reduce inequalities, sustainable cities, then responsible consumption and production, take care of climate, right? Then take care of our oceans, take care of our terrestrial habitats, create peace and justice for the strong institutions, and then partnership for these goals. So these are some of the goals set up by United Nations for sustainable development. So you can see in brief how exactly these, in these years, how this poverty, right, that is the first goal, has increased. So even though United Nations has set up the goal to reduce the poverty, poverty has increased, and then pandemics like COVID has again contributed in that, and then this poverty is increasing or growing at the rate by 7% because of different pandemics and different disasters. You can see here how this hunger, you can see this is the current status of hunger because of pandemic, and even before the pandemic also, there are very large number of people are not getting enough food or sufficient nutrients through their food. So 2.37 billion people are without food or unable to eat a healthy, balanced diet on regular basis. So this is the situation. Among these, you can see the child population, so even women population, and different people, they are suffering from this lack of healthy and balanced diet. And Vidarbha, we know that Amravati district, Melghat area, and then there are several areas in Maharashtra, they are facing the problem of this hunger, and that's why we need to achieve this food security. Healthcare sector, we have seen the situation in COVID-19. What was the situation of our healthcare sector? What is the number of people dying in first wave and second wave? Because we were lacking the primary healthcare sector, and a lot of people died because of the lack of hospitals, lack of oxygen, lack of treatment options. Not just that, lack of diagnostic options also has killed lakhs of people in recent years, that is only last year. So this is the situation of our healthcare. So we need to take care of this healthcare as well. We need to provide education. Education, we know what has happened to our education. How many people have missed their education during this pandemic because education was started online, this classes, and we know the situation of online classes. Many people in rural areas, especially, they were not having network, they were not having mobile, they were not having the ability to achieve all those instruments and those infrastructure required for the online classes, and that has again pushed our rural population and their population and kept them away from this education. So this is what we need to work on, and we need to take care of this rural population, especially for their good and quality education through different means, whatever, whether it is online, offline, we need to provide them equal opportunity to achieve that particular thing. Then equality, I will not talk much about, but there is a good ratio, right, in the where we will find lack of gender equality in different sectors. We will this about the drinking water and sanitation and hygiene. We have seen the story of Swachh Bharat, and we know how we achieved it, how much effort we are putting in achieving this Swachh Bharat Clean India movement, and still we are far away from that particular dream. This is one of the most important aspects: ensure access to affordable and reliable and sustainable energy, renewable energy, because energy is the driving force in development of any society, any country. And unless we have reliable and this affordable source of the renewable energy, we will not be able to drive our development goal or achieve our sustainable development goal. So we need to turn, currently almost 70 to 80% energy we are getting, right? That is from fossil fuel, whether it is oil based, the petroleum or diesel product, or it is fossil fuel like coal, right? That is used for generation of electricity. So we need to have options. Then again, this economic growth, and then these infrastructure inequality, then sustainable cities, then sustainable consumption and production, then climate change, then conserve and our oceans, then protect and restore our sustainable use of textile habitats, promote peaceful and inclusive societies. So we know the situation, what is happening worldwide. So all these goals are set, right, to achieve the sustainable development. And this is because we know why these goals are set up, because we are far away from achieving this sustainable development. And that's why the 17 goals are set by United Nations, and many of these goals are, again, it is equally important for our rural population in India, and we need to achieve all those goals for our rural society. So how science and technology can contribute that, and why our rural population is not able to achieve those particular goals, like life sustenance, then the second was self-respect, and then freedom. What is the reason why we have not achieved it? It is associated with economic development, because economic development is not there in villages. That's why they could not have their own that basic needs like food, education, right, or health, right? So this food, shelter, and clothing, as well as education and healthcare, they could not have it because of their economic condition. And then this economic condition is because we have neglected our agriculture like anything. We have never cared about our this agriculture sector, though almost or more than 60% population is engaged in agriculture. So we need to have our attention towards this agriculture. First thing we need to do is we need to improve our agriculture. We need to modernize our agriculture sector, one, so that we can reduce the input cost and increase yield. Second thing, in addition to modernizing our agriculture, we need to set up the processing units or processing industries in situ. So wherever those particular products are there, we need to have those industries set up in those particular rural area. And there we need to see that in addition to this contribution from industries, contribution from government, we need to see that these farmers need to be included in those particular aspects. So they need to be involved, they need to be partnered in setting up those processing units where these these families can get alternative employment, so that it will again contribute to their income, family income. And in addition to that, means through employment and through the profit they are earning through those industries, because they are partnering with that. But how we can achieve all those things? How we can have processing industries? How we can modernize our agriculture? So we need to depend on this particular aspect, that is science and technology, because science and technology can provide innovations, and those innovations in agriculture sector can contribute in improvement of the agriculture sector, modernizing agriculture sector, and increasing farmer income, developing or generating new employment opportunities for our rural population. So we need to work on this particular, we need to focus on this aspect, research and innovation through science and technology, especially those research and innovation that should contribute in modernizing and improving our agriculture sector. And unless we work on those innovations for improving our agriculture sector, our dream of becoming 5 trillion economy by 2025 is going to be a distant dream. We will not be able to achieve that particular status unless we include 65% of our population in this particular growth story. So if you think that only urban population can contribute or can achieve this particular target, it is not going to. And even if it is achieved, it is not going to be growth of our country or growth of our society, right? This is going to be growth of only specific group of people, that is industrialist, and that is going to achieve or reap the benefits of that particular growth story. So this growth without inclusion of farming or agriculture sector is not the growth story of our country or India. So we need to see that we need to work on this inclusive growth of our society. And this inclusive growth, inclusive means that should include this agriculture sector. And this inclusive growth is possible only when we need to research and innovate, right? Our agriculture technology, that technology that can modernize and improve agriculture sector, contribute to this agro-processing unit. And that's how we need to have our economy where our farmers are going to be partner. So how this science and technology, how these innovations can contribute? So these innovations can improve or make a significant contribution to an existing product, process, or service, right? That process of turning a new concept into commercial success or widespread use is called as innovation. So we need many more innovations, in particular this agriculture sector. So can be achieved. You know that you can see this top 10 or maybe top 50 companies, right? In the world, most of these companies are technology based, right? I will tell you one story. So as I always say that when we compare Indian and American economy, we can just look at the resources we have. So we got almost threefold more human resource in India compared to USA, right? Our population is almost 140 crore, while US population is around 30-35 crore, right? So we got almost 3 to 4-fold more human resource. Not just human resource, you can see if we say agriculture land available in US and in India, so agriculture land available, so you know that America or United States of America is almost 7-fold larger than our country, than our India. So it will say that almost 7% more land and water resources for agriculture available in USA. So you can consider if they have 7-fold more agriculture or natural resources for agriculture, still their economy is not dependent on agriculture. Nobody says that American economy is on is dependent on agriculture. It is agri-based. No, it is not. Their economy is technology based. They have all these technologies. So whether it is Apple, Google, Microsoft, Tesla, all these technology based companies, all these innovation based companies, they are set up in USA. And they are driving the economy of the country. Not just that, there are many other technologies, whether it is defense equipments and whether it is other these technologies, it is all coming from Western countries, though they have more resources for agriculture because they understood the importance and significance of this technology, and that's why instead of depending on agriculture, they are driving the world economy based on this technology. So this is the reason we need to focus on technology. So when we talk about the human resource, I said we have 3 to 4-fold more human resource in India, and most of our Indian brains, they are leading the top US companies, technology-based companies. Our story is different. Forget about USA, just think about the South Korean economy. You know that South Korea's GDP, in that South Korea's GDP, almost 28% is contributed by only one company, that is Samsung. So this is the significance of the technology in growth and development of any country or any society. So this is how people who understood significance of science and technology and they focused on innovations, they have grown very faster compared to Korea. South Korea, it was just like India, very, very small country, but they understood the significance. Forget about Germany and Japan. I'm not talking about because they're already developed countries. But country like South Korea, then country like Taiwan, country like Singapore, right? They were with us. They were developed, they were underdeveloped like India, but they understood the significance of science and technology and they took up this particular science and technology as their driving force for growth and development of their country or their economy. They are growing very faster. So you can see in addition to Samsung, like Hyundai, then LG and these other technology-based companies, right? They are contributing almost 50% in their economy. So if you just recall, you can try to see how many such brands you have in India that has global appeal. You will not find a single such brand which has a global appeal from India. So this is unfortunate. And that's why we need to focus on science and technology. And now in recent years, we started working on this particular aspect where we understood the significance of these innovations, and then we have started creating the startup ecosystem, and that's how now there are 38 companies. They have achieved unicorn status, and this number of startups is increasing. Then it is also contributing in the job creation as well as wealth creation. So this is how the science and technology is contributing in the growth stories of different countries, and recently it has started contributing in our economy as well. Now, am I audible? Hello? मेरी आवाज आ रही है? Okay, so you can interrupt me if you have some. मराठी मध्ये बोललं चालेल? मराठी हिंदी मध्ये बोलू का काही? थोडं चालेल बोललं तर?
Yes, sir.
सो हे अपन जे बघितलंय की आपल्याला जो सोसाइटी है, हमारा जो रूरल पॉपुलेशन है, टू अचीव दिस सस्टेनेबल डेवलपमेंट गोल्स, हमें उनको भी साथ में लेना है. उनको जब तक हम उनका इकोनॉमिक स्टेटस जब तक हम चेंज नहीं करते हैं, we will not be able to achieve that particular sustainable development goal of our rural society. So उनको साथ में लेना है, तो हम how we can contribute to that, हम उनको कैसे साथ में ले सकते हैं. So we need to work on those innovations, right, in the form of startups. Those innovations जो कि हमारे रूरल इकोनॉमी में और इकोनॉमी में कंट्रीब्यूट करेंगे, एग्रीकल्चर सेक्टर में कंट्रीब्यूट करेंगे. आप लोगों ने होगा रिसेंटली कि एग्रीकल्चर के लिए नए नए इनोवेशंस आ रहे हैं, कि पेस्टिसाइड स्प्रेइंग के लिए ड्रोन आ रहे हैं, राइट. इवन देयर आर डिफरेंट ways of disease diagnosis, right. आप गांव में आपके क्रॉप पे कौन सा है, क्या है, उसका डायग्नोसिस भी आप फोटो निकाल के अगर भेजेंगे तो आपको उसका पता चलेगा. Then those people will provide you guidance for taking care of those particular insect or pest management based on the of those particular insect pest. तो इस तरह से there are many such innovations are needed जो भी हम कर रहे हैं. सो एग्रीकल्चर को, हमारा जो खेती है, इंडियन एग्रीकल्चर को इम्प्रूव करना है, तो हमें फिलहाल जो इनपुट कॉस्ट हम यूज कर रहे हैं, फॉर एग्जाम्पल केमिकल फर्टिलाइजर्स वी आर यूजिंग, राइट, वी आर यूजिंग लॉट ऑफ पेस्ट्स, एंड देन दैट इज इंक्रीजिंग द इनपुट कॉस्ट. सो फॉर एग्जाम्पल अगर हम कॉटन का एग्जाम्पल लेंगे, तो कॉटन का प्रोडक्शन का कॉस्ट आप निकालिए, कितने उसको होता है, उसका कॉस्ट क्या होता है, एंड देन फाइनली उसका यील्ड कितना आता है. सो in addition to that, if you कैलकुलेट लेबर कॉस्ट अगर हम कैलकुलेट करते हैं फैमिली के लोगों का, जितने लोग उसको कर रहे हैं, राइट, उनका अगर कॉस्ट हम कैलकुलेट करते हैं लेबर का, तो वी विल नॉट हैव एनीथिंग रिमेन इन आवर हैंड, एंड एवरेज इनकम ऑफ आवर इंडियन पॉपुलेशन इज अराउंड 10,000 rupees per year. That is average for our rural population or agriculture families. So to reduce that, this is one of the first goal of these United Nations, that is reducing this poverty, especially this poverty we have seen in our farming community. So ये कैसे अचीव कर सकते हैं? We need to have innovations, how this biotechnology or how these other science and technology can contribute. So we can have, in addition to agriculture, this particular technology can contribute in healthcare, food security, animal health, and many other, like this pollution control, everything. So this agriculture, this biotechnology and these technological innovations can contribute in reducing the poverty in the rural population. So we know the story of BT cotton, right? So BT cotton or biotic crops has contributed significantly in the income of farmers worldwide. However, in India, there was only one biotic crop permitted, BT cotton, and BT cotton has contributed significantly the profit because input cost has reduced, cost required for spraying was reduced, as well as income is this yield is also increased. So that's how this biotech crop has, this BT cotton has contributed in income of farmer. But compared to other countries where different or there are several crops, biotech crop, maize, soybean, and several others like BT, brinjal, they have permitted these biotech crops, and that's why those farmers are reaping the benefits of those particular biotech crops because they are high yielding, and this biotech crop has very less input cost, and that's why farmer is getting better compared to conventional crops. But unfortunately, our policies are allowing to grow those biotech crops, right? Except BT cotton. And there was one story you have seen that there is one person in Haryana. He has he grew some biotech crop without permission, and then he was sent to jail. In addition to that, this BT brinjal was developed by Mahiko in collaboration with Monsanto for Indian society. However, it did not get any permission in releasing that particular variety in India, and then Mahiko has given eggplant variety, or that is brinjal, BT brinjal variety to Bangladesh, and then now Bangladeshis are growing that BT brinjal and putting it to other countries. So this is how we are losing the opportunity. So if we want to reduce the poverty and increase farmer income, we need to work on our policies. We need to provide the modern day technologies available for farmer. We need to provide them biotech crops. We need to provide them other technologies so that those farmer can increase their income, increase the profit. But that is not is achieved. Then hunger. How this science and technology can help us reducing the hunger. So if we can use, or unless we use these biotechnological interventions in achieving the food security, we will not be able to provide the food in population. So our population is going to be almost 10 billion in coming years, maybe by 2030, and by that time our food requirement is going to increase tremendously. And as we cannot increase the agriculture land, we cannot increase the natural resources for agriculture, we need to use modern day technology for increasing the yield. And unless we use this biotechnology, we will not be able to increase the yield further. And if we are not able to increase the yield, we will not be able to feed the future. So you can see that BT maize, BT cowpea, right? And then other crops, they are contributing in this what we can say cereal production, and then this pulses production that is helping us in providing sufficient food or reducing the hunger of the world. So unless we have these crops, we cannot achieve this particular goal, that is reducing the hunger. So you can see we need to develop different varieties which is going to be climate resilient, which is need to be insect and pest resistant, so that we can reduce the losses, we can increase the yield. In addition to that, while increasing the yield, we can again some of the crops, right? That is called as biofortified crop, which can again increase the nutritional quality of that particular crop, and that's how we can take care of those undernourished this population, or provide them whatever nutrients, whatever food our population. So we can develop these biofortified crops, golden rice, right? Then biofortified sorghum, then the banana 21. So these are some of the rural population to use all this, contribute to their economy. Not just that, we can contribute to their achieving these sustainable development goals, because sustainable development goals are associated with their economic status. So to achieve this economic status, we need to permit these available technology. We need to again allow them to innovate uh, and develop novel technologies, so that in addition to, because these people, farmer, they can make your food security possible, and then simultaneously they can achieve their what we can say uh, doubling their farmer income or their income through these particular biotech crops. But this is one of the problem. We are not allowing them to use this modern day technology or modern day this innovations available for agriculture sector. So this is why the poverty and this economic status of our Indian, especially Indian agriculture sector or farmer community is becoming a distant dream. It is still a distant dream. Though we are talking too much about helping farmer and developing different schemes and initiatives, unless we allow them, unless we give them, provide them freedom to use the technology available and increase their own profit. So this is one of the reason we need to provide them, and this is how we can achieve that. We are again working in some of the areas in developing climate resilient crops. So we are working on wheat with other universities and trying to develop new varieties or high yielding varieties, so that we can help farmer to contributing at our level. So good health and well-being, I will not talk much about that, but we know this COVID-19 pandemic, people were, we could save a good number of population just because of this science and technology, especially biotechnology. So this biotechnology has made it possible to diagnose this virus rapidly in few hours, and this rapid diagnosis has saved millions of lives, right, during this pandemic. You can just imagine if we could not have this artificial technology for the diagnosis, what would have been, how this virus would have spread. Because of this rapid diagnosis, we could achieve or we could restrict the spread of that particular virus, and we could isolate those people, identify those people, and treat those people in time because of this particular technology. So we need to make use of this technology in diagnosis, not just diagnosis. This is the first time in history where within 1 year vaccines are developed against any disease. So thanks to biotechnology, thanks to science and technology, that has made this possible. And these vaccines has saved the world from this particular COVID-19 or this coronavirus. कोरोनाव्हायरस पासून जगाला वाचवण्याचं काम जे कोणी केलं असेल तर एक ते रॅपिड डायग्नोसिस, आरटीपीसीआरच्या थ्रू जे त्याचं रॅपिड डायग्नोसिस झालं त्याच्यामुळे अर्ध पॉप्युलेशन वाचलं. आणि पुढे जो होणारा स्प्रेड होता किंवा जो पुन्हा आणखी थांबवला तो वॅक्सिनमुळे. आता ऑलमोस्ट 70% इंडियन पॉप्युलेशन इज वॅक्सिनेटेड, अँड दॅट्स वाय वी आर not getting serious infections or serious disease development because of the COVID-19. So all these vaccines are developed through means of biotechnology. So whether it is Covishield, whether it is Moderna, whether it is Sputnik, all these vaccines are developed through means of biotechnology or biology, modern biology, and that's how it has contributed in saving the large number of population worldwide. I will not talk much about those vaccines and all, but I just wanted to make a point where this science and technology is contributing in sustainable development. So because of these vaccines and rapid diagnosis, we can sustain the humanity on Earth. I will say that. So again, sanitation and this clean water. So I will not talk much about, but I will tell you the story, how we can help our rural population, how we can allow our rural society to attain or to achieve those sustainable development goals through this affordable and clean energy. Because till today, everyone were dependent on this fossil fuel, but through this advent of science and technology, right, or these innovations, now we can do energy farming. And if we can provide, you know that people all over the world, they're looking for renewable energy sources. And if we can achieve this particular this thing, renewable energy through farming, or if we can go for energy farming, we can easily achieve those particular goals. So before that, you see that there are different countries like Brazil, Swedish, there are a few companies, they have started producing biofuel. In India also, we have started this biofuel by bioethanol through sugar cane and through some grains. Then some of the companies, they have started using biogas, right? And this, they are generating biogas and bio-CNG as an energy source. So bio-CNG or biogas is not at all new to our country. I will just go back to this thing. So we will talk about energy. So I will tell you how that biogas and bio-CNG has relation with our country. I will tell you that in after 1 or 2 slides later, but just look at this particular slide. So we are looking for energy. So all the energy, whatever energy we get, it is all from this sun. We are getting this energy in the form of light from the sun, and this light energy, right, is used by primary producers. So how much light energy they are producing? Only 10%. So this 10% energy is moving in this particular what we can say energy pyramid, that first level consumer, second level consumer, third level consumer, how that energy we are losing. So whatever energy sun is light is providing, we are able to track only few, right? And if we consider that energy as 100% energy we trapped through this particular producer or these plants, out of that, only 10% energy we are using it, right, for further at the second level of this particular consumer, while 90% of energy is wasted, right, in the form of heat or this thing. And while losing this particular energy, it is again creating a lot of other environmental this thing, what we say, pollutants, and that is again affecting our environment. So now, if we can just focus on improving our efficiency in utilizing this particular energy, we don't need to depend on any other energy source. So whatever energy we are able to trap, right, whatever light energy we are able to trap, if we can use it efficiently, right, we don't need to depend on any additional energy source for our energy requirement, whether it is food or whether it is fuel. So we can use this energy trapped by primary producer. We are currently using it as food, right? And that this energy, leftover energy, instead of going it waste, if we can use it for generating the fuel, we can solve our energy problem. Not just that, we can solve all the problem associated with the environment pollution. So you know that how this light is contributing to all the energy form or all the food in our this ecosystem, right? I will not go into much detail, but this photosynthesis is the mechanism through which this light energy is converted into chemical energy in the form of carbohydrate, and then this energy, right? I'm not going into the detail, but that energy is stored in the form of different biomass. And you know, except the food grains or some sort of this bio waste, all this biomass is going waste. And instead of allowing that wastage, if we can use that biomass efficiently, and if we can convert that biomass into biofuel, we can solve the dependence, right, on this particular fossil fuel like coal and this crude oil for our fuel requirement or electricity generation. Because this electricity generation, we are burning a lot of fossil fuel, that is coal. So what is the way out? This is biomethanization. So as I was telling you about the biogas production, so this biogas production, first biogas plant was set up in India. You may not be knowing. It is 1869. First biogas plant was set up in India, in Matunga, in Mumbai, and they used to use that particular gas for straight light. So, though it was in 1869, we, instead of working on that particular process, biogas generation process, we neglected it, and instead whole world is turned up towards this fossil fuel, and then we are reached to this stage where our environment is polluted so much that our climate or global warming is becoming a reality, and then it is causing a lot of problem. So the solution for this particular our rural development or rural population or agriculture sector is this particular biomethanization. So we are talking about this novel innovation or innovative technologies for agriculture sector. This is one of the technology, biomethanization or biogas technology. Though it is not innovative, it was invented in 1869 or before that. We have developed, right, recent years, a lot of development has happened. One of the reasons why this particular biogas technology was not taken up earlier is because the yield of that biogas we were getting or generating through that waste was very less, because technology was not advanced. But today, in today's this thing, we have achieved that particular technology where we got yield of that biogas up to 10% of the biomass. And that's why now it is becoming profitable, and not just profitable, this particular technology can also help us in our environment, because whatever bio-waste material that is causing pollution, environmental pollution, right? Instead of allowing it to pollute our environment, if we can go for bioconversion of that particular bio-waste into this biogas, we can solve many problems. So first problem we can solve, that is we can take care of our waste and reduce the. In addition to that, we can take advantage of that particular technology by producing a value-added product, that is biogas. Biogas again can replace the fossil fuel, and it is far more efficient, right? Because this value, right, energy value of biogas is far better than this fossil fuel, and that's why it is not polluting environment as like our fossil fuel, whether it is diesel, petrol, or whether coal is doing. So it is considered as green energy, and it will take care of environment pollution, global warming. It can take care of this bio waste, and that's why it is considered as a novel source of renewable energy. And if now who is going to do that? Who is supposed to do that? This biogas production. Currently, there are 5 lakh biogas units in India. So everyone has seen those units, household units initially, they are set up. So you have seen only one single this thing, tank there, that conventional biogas unit. And in that single this tank, we used to put our bio waste, maybe cow dung and other waste, and yield of that particular biogas unit is very less. And that is the reason, though there are 45 lakh units are there currently in India, biogas units. It is because the technology we used for those biogas units was old, and only one bioreactor that is not able to degrade whatever bio waste it has. So that is the reason we need to work on the technology. And currently, we have now several alternative technologies to take care of that bio waste. So what do you mean by bio waste? How this biogas is synthesized? So this is what I was talking about, this methane. Biogas is nothing but the mixture of different gases, and majority is methane. And if we purify that methane, it becomes compressed natural gas, that is CNG. So we can use this CNG for different purposes, right? Now I will just tell you the story how exactly this biomethane is produced efficiently, and I was talking about the novel technology. So we know this process for biomethanization, that is hydrolysis, acidogenesis, acetogenesis, and methanogenesis, 4-stage digesters. So here we are using 4 different digesters, where in first digester we are going to achieve hydrolysis, that is going to be it is not going to be anaerobic, while other 3 are going to be anaerobic digesters. So where this complex organic matters, including carbohydrates and proteins, are hydrolyzed into soluble organic molecules like sugar, amino acids, and fatty acids. And these amino acids and fatty acids can be used for generating volatile fatty acids, and these fatty acids can be used as an energy source by methanogens. And these methanogens can convert those volatile fatty acids into acid and then gas, that is methane and carbon dioxide. So that's how we can produce methane, and this four-stage digester technology has made this particular biogas or bio-CNG projects efficient, and up to 10% of biogas we can produce through this particular technology. So this is in detail. You can see biogas composition, what type of this it has almost 60% methane and other rest of the carbon dioxide, water, and then H2S, nitrogen, and oxygen. So this is the content of biogas. So this biomethane has these other components, but if we can purify that, it can produce good quality this bio-CNG. You can see the yield of the particular this thing bio-CNG or from this biomass. So the story I was telling about how our agriculture sector is benefited through this technology is through this particular, that biomass we are generating. You can see state-wise it is given how much biomass is generated and burned. You can see Punjab 19 million, then this Haryana 9 million, UP 21 million tons, right? Million tons of this biomass is burned every year. You might have heard about this stubble burning in North India, and this stubble burning is causing a lot of environmental pollution, and then air quality is again damaged. And instead of burning that particular biomass, if we can use that biomass for this, you can see this contribution of this thing in the pollution. So if we can use this particular biomass for this bio-CNG projects, we can generate a lot of bio-CNG. So you can see almost 16 to 18 million biomass is being burned, right? So it is causing environmental problem. And if we can set up these bio-CNG units and use this agricultural waste for those as raw material for those bio-CNG projects, we can solve the problem of this environmental pollution. In addition to that, take care of that biomass and produce the fuel from that particular biomass. So it is not only this waste biomass. We can again ask our farmer to go for this. I was talking about energy farming. So if they can produce biomass in their farm, like grasses, napier grass, they can grow and they can produce, because the napier grass can produce almost 200 tons per acre every year. And if you can sell that napier grass, you will get around 1,000 rupees ton. Even if you get, you will be getting 2 lakhs per acre, and there is no input cost, production cost for that particular napier grass. You don't need any fertilizer, you don't need any pesticide for that particular crop. So likewise, if we can promote this energy farming in our agriculture sector, we and set up this bio-CNG units in rural area, right? We can help our farmer achieving or increasing their income. And this is what is the aim of our Indian government. They have a target of setting up 5,000 biogas unit in our country, and they have made a provision for that, also financial provision. So they have made a provision of almost 3,000 crore for setting up of those biogas units in the rural area. And I think through those particular energy farming, our farmer can increase income, they can achieve independence, they can have their whatever goals they have हेलो, आवाज येते का? Yes. Hello.
Yes, sir, you are audible.
I'm sorry that the power has gone. My computer is off, so I have connected through mobile. So I think I just wanted to sum up. So with this, I was talking about this bio-CNG or this energy farming option for our farming community or our farmer. And this is the novel or innovative technology through which we can empower our agriculture community or farming community, and they can, we can say, they can start growing those energy crops instead of depending on the conventional crop. Unless they do that, they cannot achieve the economic freedom, and that's how there the sustainable development, right, rural area or sustainable development of our rural population will not be achieved. So I think with this, I just wanted to sum up. This is how the science and technology, we have seen how it is contributing in the pandemic like COVID-19, how it is contributing in food security, and how it can contribute in renewable energy, right? And not just renewable energy, in addition to providing the source of this renewable energy, if we can empower our farmer to produce this renewable energy, it will be a great, what we can say, attempt to empower our farming and agriculture community through this particular energy farming. So we need to support. Government has already developed those policies for these biogas units, and they're setting up. Their target is of 5,000 such units in India, because they want to achieve fuel independence by 2030. And unless the participation of our farming and agriculture community, we will not be able to achieve that. So with this, I would like to thank organizer, especially Dr. Ravi Kumar Shinde and his team, for giving me this opportunity. And thank you all for your patience listening, because it is almost 1.5 hours I had been talking and you are listening patiently. So it is a great pleasure to interact with you people. I will be very happy to answer your questions, if any. I am totally telling you about this bio-CNG project is because we are setting up such projects in Buldana district. In Sindhkhed Raja, one such project is already started. We are setting another project in Sangrampur Tehsil. We are setting a project in Segaon, Motala, Jalgaon Jamod, Buldana, Chikli. All the tehsils from Buldana, these bio-CNG projects are being set up. And we are part of those projects. And I'll be very happy to provide additional information for those who are interested in that particular these projects. So thank you one and all for your support and your opportunity for sharing my views on these science and technology interventions in sustainable rural development in India. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Now, I would like to invite Honorable Principal Dr. Alka Mankar ma'am to give presidential remark. Please, ma'am, I over to you, ma'am.
Good afternoon, all of you. We are extremely grateful to our patrons, Honorable President, Sri Shivaji Education Society, Amravati, Honorable Harshvardhanji Deshmukh Sahib, Honorable Vice President Naresh Chandraji Thakre Sahib, and all respected members of our society. We acknowledge the support of the keynote speaker, Honorable Professor Patil Ma'am, Dean Faculty, Interdisciplinary Studies, SRTM, University Nanded. Ma'am has given a valuable knowledge about education and sustainable development, education that encourages changes in knowledge, skills, values, and attitudes to enable more sustainable society for all. Our honorable resource person, Dr. G.B. Jore Sahib, School of Life Science, Director, Molecular Diagnostic and Clinical Research Lab, SRTM, University Nanded, guided us on how information and communications can reduce poverty by improving poor people access to education, and how our governments health and financial service technologies open up doors for new opportunities to do business and agriculture and other works. The main objectives of sustainable development is to bring stability to our social, economic, and environmental requirements. It will further lead to welfare and availability of resources for the coming generations. Sustainable development is a wonderful way to conserve the natural resources we have by changing our approach towards the use and development of technologies. I am very sure that the conference would provide a platform to the researchers, participants, and all members to get new innovative ideas for making worthy contributions with scholarly discussions. The subject and sub-themes chosen for the conference is of great importance, not only for research scholars, but also all people in our society, like farmers, women, and other people. I would like to congratulate NAC coordinator, Dr. Tarale Madam, Dr. Shinde sir, Dr. Jadhav sir, Dr. Dekate Madam, Dr. Dighe Madam. We have conducted who conducted this conference and taking great efforts to make this conference successful. Also, I would like to thank all professors, organizing committee, advisory committee, and all members, teaching and non-teaching staff for organizing this grand academic event. On this occasion, I extend my great wishes to all the publication of souvenir and thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much, ma'am. Participant, that we conclude here. Our feedback is here, so please stay with us. Thank you, distinguished participants. Whatever remarks you have, please give oral feedback to us. At the end, I would like to invite Dr. Suchita Dighe ma'am to propose a vote of thanks. Good afternoon to all of you.
I feel honored and privileged to get the opportunity to propose a vote of thanks. On this special occasion, I would like to thank all the honorable delegates who bless us with their presence. I, Dr. Suchita Dighe, convener and head department of botany, Sri Pundlik Maharaj Mahavidyalaya Nandora, District Buldhana, has organized a national multidisciplinary conference on sustainable development to impart values of research among all the students. Now, last but not least part of our National Multidisciplinary Conference on Sustainable Development. It gives me immense pleasure to express thanks to all dignitaries. First of all, on behalf of the organizing committee, convey deep regards and hearty thanks to our chief patron, Honorable Shri Harshvardhanji Deshmukh, President of Shivaji Education Society, Amravati, present here for encouraging us. I am thankful to our patron, Sri Nareshchandraji Thakre, Vice President of Shivaji Education Society, Amravati, who is present here. They help us in obtaining the necessary administrative approval for organizing the event in our campus. They supported in all possible manner to organize this conference. I would like to thank our today's keynote speaker, Professor Vijayanta Patil, Professor and Head Director, School of Education, and Dean of Faculty of Interdisciplinary Studies, Swami Ramananda Tirtha, Marathwada University, Nanded. Thank you so much, ma'am, for enlightening us on education and sustainable development. Your expertise will definitely support you for researchers to exchange ideas for further progress in research and development. Today, my words are not enough to express my sincere gratitude who grace us with his kind words. Today's research person, Dr. G.B. Zorle, School of Life Science, Director of Molecular Diagnostic and Clinical Research Lab, Swami Ramananda Tirtha, Marathwada University, Nanded, for sharing his expertise on role of science and technology in sustainable rural development. Thank you so much, sir. I am also very much thankful to all National Advisory Committee and Local Advisory Committee, Convener Dr. R.V. Shinde sir, Organizing Secretary Dr. Smita Tarade ma'am, for their constant guidance and support to shape the conference. I would like to thank all the researchers, academicians, faculties, and delegates from all corners of the globe. Our motive behind the conference is to take an opportunity to build networks with other academics and experts in the similar fields of studies around the world and exchange of ideas on recent advances in computer science and various fields of science, arts, and commerce. The problem that we face in the 21st century requires a broader view of scientific culture. In that context, the contribution from basic sciences with strong multidisciplinary research has increasingly become essential paradigm for the development and the survival of the world. So thank you so much all participants. I would like to thank our today's chairperson, our torchbearer, beloved, respected Dr. Alka Mankar ma'am, inspiring us in working towards goal of conducting National Multidisciplinary Conference on Sustainable Development. We are thankful to her for huge support at all the times. Dr. Ule sir, Dr. Sunanda Revsi ma'am, Dr. Pratibha ma'am, Dr. Mukmale sir, Head Department of Physics, Professor Tejaswini Marakwad, Head Department of Zoology, all assistant professors and teaching and non-teaching staff, technical committee members, Dr. Anita Kadgai, Supriya Gedam, Sunanda Dekate, who always stands by us and motivate us. And special thanks to Professor Sachin Jadhav sir, as he is working as a technician. I feel proud and thank you for making this event a successful one. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Dear participants, With that, we conclude our feedback is here. So please stay with us. Thank you, distinguished participants. Whatever remarks you have, please give oral feedback to us. No one is here. Okay, no one is here. Please, we are sharing to you feedback link. Please fill out this feedback link, and after that you will get the certificate. And this conference is over here. Thank you. Thank you so much.